Let's connect with Mr. Vijay Kumar, Rural Secretary, who joins us live from New Delhi. Mr. Kumar, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let me start with something which is of immense market curiosity. What is happening to rural spending in India, and are you picking up any data points which are suggesting that the rural spending in India is slowing down?
No, well, we don't actually monitor rural spending as a whole, but we do contribute to rural development spending, which obviously has a direct relationship with rural spending. In particular, you know, the National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, which has this year an outlay of 33,000 crores, is a major budget outlay that is going into the hands of the rural poor. And obviously a lot of the rural wages will come out in the spending data that others will be gathering.
Mr. Kumar, we'll just chat about that, but the government is planning to give lower rate loans to farmers in drought-hit areas. What are the other measures that the government is mulling at this point in time?
Well, you see, the response of the government to the drought is very broad-based, covering a large variety of areas, including credit, including inputs, including also, you know, wage employment and so on. We from the Rural Development Ministry side are primarily concerned with providing wage employment to people whose incomes are hit, either because they were wage labor who don't find employment in a drought situation, or whose land productivity has gone down because of drought. The NREGA, that is the National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, is the major mechanism through which we carry out these programs. We have been preparing to meet the likely spike in the demand for wage employment under the program, both in terms of the number of days for employment and in terms of the works in which such employment will be done.
So how bad really, Mr. Kumar, is the situation on ground? How many districts in the country are badly affected in your estimate, wherein you are taking utmost and urgent relief measures right now?
The estimate for how bad the drought is actually done by the meteorological department. We use their data and monitor the progress very closely. According to information supplied by them, about 100 districts are partially affected by drought in terms of what is called either scanty rainfall or deficient rainfall. We do planning at a lower level, which is at the block level. Our estimate is that in these 100 districts, 700 blocks or talukas or tehsils are likely to be affected to some degree, and therefore we expect that the spike in employment, particularly the demand for NREGA, is likely to be centered mainly around these blocks. We haven't actually as yet, except barring a few states, seen the spike yet. But that's not unusual. Very often this occurs a little later in the year.
Mr. Kumar, two follow-up questions on NREGA. Out of the total outlay of 33,000 crore, what has been the total NREGA spend in Q1? And are you now making a case that the NREGA total outlay needs to be increased for FY13?
Well, as I said, our outlay is about 33,000 crores this year. So far we have spent about 15,000 crores. Spent in the sense that we have released to the states, and there is an expenditure of 15,000 crores. But we also know that the states currently have about 12,000 crores of NREGA funds in their hands. So there is sufficient funds in the pipeline. It is our estimate that the spike in the employment that may take place can be managed more or less within the budget outlay that was provided, because the outlay that was provided at the beginning of the year was actually quite generous, and we feel that we can accommodate the additional demand within this. We are monitoring some of the indicators which would indicate how the spike will develop or where the demand will be. So far, and the two parameters we have been monitoring fairly closely are how many families have actually already been provided 100 days of wages, and whether there is a demand for additional mandates to be provided to them. Because you will know that under the NREGA, the guarantee is for only 100 days. And therefore, if in some drought areas there is a demand for more mandates, one of the things we would have to do is increase the number of mandates allowed.
So
but as an advance measure, we also we are also monitoring how many people are actually already touching 70 days. In order to plan in advance, whether there is likely to be an increase in the number of people asking for 100 days of wages. We are not yet seeing a very major spike here, but there are a few states where the increase is slightly evident, and we are seeing particularly in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Rajasthan, we are seeing some evidence of some increase of demand for wage employment.
But Mr. Kumar, give us a ballpark estimate. Will it cost, as to how much will it cost the country in terms of a hit on GDP as the crop yields will be impacted, as well as employment in those areas? Also, like you said, you were planning to give higher wages for NREGA as well. So what is this total sum actually coming out to?
Well, I wouldn't be able to estimate the impact on the GDP. That's actually the Planning Commission's job. Insofar as the higher wages are concerned, actually we have a well-set pattern, and the NREGA wages are redetermined from time to time. We last notified NREGA wages in April, and there was a small increase in the wages. Of course, we do recognize that we have to keep a fine balance between the wages that need to be paid, and also the fact that rural and agricultural labor are in demand in a number of sectors and a number of areas outside NREGA. We believe that the notification that we have issued raising the wages in April is a very fine balance, and most states seem to be quite satisfied with it.
Okay, fair amount. Give me a ballpark figure in terms of how much by way of funds have you allocated for drought hit areas till now?
No, as I said, you see, if the issue is the wage employment scheme, it's a totally demand-driven scheme. We keep a central fund, and we allocate it to states according to the demand received from the states, which in turn is based on the demand received from the districts and the panchayats. Any panchayat or any district which is actually drought hit and there is a need for additional employment will get the additional fund, because the Act says that anyone who applies for NREGA employment is entitled and has the right to demand and get wage employment for up to 100 days. We do not centrally track how the demand patterns are changing at the panchayat level, that the state governments do.
Right.
But as I said, basically we do not see a very major change at the moment, though it could well occur maybe in a few months from now.
So Mr. Kumar, can you specify some states, some territories where the NREGA demand has shot up? What I'm trying to understand is that which are the pockets where the NREGA demand have shot up because of poor monsoon?
The states where we are seeing, we have state level data, and of course on our website, which the district level data is also available. At the state level data shows that one of the states where there's been reasonably high increase, and here we are talking as a comparison with the similar period in the previous year. Maharashtra is one state where there's been some fair amount of increase, and in Tamil Nadu there's been an increase. West Bengal there has been an increase, though the base was very low there, but nevertheless the increase is significant. And Rajasthan. All these states currently have substantial funds in hand, and therefore they will be able to take immediate care of the increase in demand for work. But we are totally prepared in order to give additional assistance to them in order to meet the increased demand for wages as and when it rises.
Final question, Mr. Kumar. If the NREGA demand shoots up in the second half of this year, and if the demand is that employment for more than 100 days is required, you have a social obligation to fulfill it. But how prepared are you?
Currently, the Act says the minimum employment that will be given is for 100 days. Recently, both the Agriculture Minister and the Rural Development Minister had toured several of the drought-hit states, and they had met both the state governments and various farmer communities and rural communities. And there was a widespread demand that the 100 days should be increased to 150 days. This demand has been seriously considered in the ministry, and we are at the final stages of taking a decision. Our Act allows us to increase the number of man days to a higher figure, say even 150 days, in areas and in situations that we would like to specify. And we are considering increasing the number of man days in drought-hit areas to accommodate the requirements for wage labor. We haven't announced the final decision yet, but I think we are at the last stages, and perhaps in a day or two we should be able to finally announce that decision. Insofar as the funding of it is concerned, our calculation is that there is sufficient headroom within the budget outlay to accommodate this additional demand, and we should be in a position to provide for it. I don't think at the moment funds are a major constraint. We are not asking for an additional budget outlay for this currently.